All right, occasionally a pair of sneakers comes along and shocks the industry. I feel like that's kind of what this pair did. I'm just shocked with the way that this box came. It's so bad. I mean, just destroyed. Any which way, we have a pair of sneakers that comes with a towel, a terry cloth towel. Check this out. This is crazy. I mean, this is like super thick boy embroidery. Really, really nice, heavy duty stuff going on here. In fact, I feel like there needs to be like a pair of sneakers that you make out of this or something. I don't know, it'd be awesome. Anyway, these shoes, for discussion, something that has had a lot of rotations around the internet. This is a Nike Cactus Plant Flea Market Air Flea 2, and I have the, what is it? The Faded Spruce Alabaster colorway. This is a really interesting one, to be honest. It also came with this little hang tag that's interestingly made of paper. But it does have a metal like holder, which is weird. Anyway, there's the inside of the box. The shoes, though, let me tell you, these are interesting. And first and foremost, I wanted to talk about the sizing of the product because that seems to be the hot topic across the interwebs right now. A lot of people have suggested that people that got early pairs of the Flea 2s, basically the sizes were all sort of wonky. But in my experience, I feel like all of the sizes are probably just wonky in general, and or all of us have no idea what our actual shoe size is. I mean, it's just, I find it kind of all humorous because at the end of the day, like the sneakerhead motto is like, I'm a sneakerhead, I wear size 8 to size 12. Like that's just the way it goes. We make it work when we have to. And some cases you got to do it because you only get one chance to get the shoe. And I got this opportunity to get them at retail from Cactus Plant Flea Market. Not knowing any better, I chose true to size. That's what I got. That's what I threw on my feet. But I will tell you that for me personally, in my experience, they do fit a little bit big. So I am a 9.5 typically. Sometimes I can wear 9s. Sometimes I wear 10s. It just depends on the model. But this one specifically, this model is a 9.5 and it fits me big. So one thing that's very interesting, obviously the length of the shoe is massive. It's a big shoe. Like comparison to other 9.5 shoes, this is a beefy pair. But when I put these on, my foot actually ends up like stopping right around here where this little rubber little nib is right here. But that's not where the inside of the shoe ends. It actually ends further up. So my foot comes up a little bit short in here. Personally, I know some people said they do true to size. That's the right size for them. Other people have suggested these are 2 sizes too big. And to their defense, maybe. I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, some people don't know the right size. Some people might have really, really thick boy socks. Also, some of them just might fit other people a little bit differently because it's a weird fitting shoe. It's not like a Jordan 1 and Air Max and Ultra Boost. It's the Air Flea 2 and it is really, really beefy and really, really big. So yeah, you could probably fit it in if it's a size, maybe 2 sizes too big. Would it be something you could walk around in comfortably? Probably not. I think that half a size down for me was the right answer, but I tweeted it out and a lot of people suggested they were true to size, but not an overwhelming number actually said that. So very interesting. The sizing issues on this is hilarious. And also just one of those things where us as sneaker people have become accustomed to like getting the wrong size and being okay with it. I don't know. I feel like we should have higher standards for ourselves. But at the same time, I do have a pair of Galaxy foam posits that are an 8.5 that I've made work on occasion. I've taken out the insoles. I stuffed them in. I've worn them a couple times actually. And just because I really wanted that shoe and I got them for free from a friend. And foam posits fit really snug. It's one of those shoes you have to like basically wear a lot and then it like kind of relaxes and matches your foot better. But yeah, it's just one of those shoes that like it's embarrassingly small on my foot, but I make it work, man. I have to. I also have some pairs that are probably like size 10 that fit like an 11, and sometimes I have to throw them down and we make it work. So again, I find humor in it, but at the end of the day, like $220 is the retail price in it. I know some people are going to be pissed if you get the wrong shoe size in person, and ultimately, I mean, I don't really know what to tell you. That's why I usually try to give you guys a disclaimer on my videos. Like a lot of the time, the opinions for my sizing is just from my personal experience. My personal experience may not be your personal experience. I have a little bit of a wider foot, sometimes a little bit of a flat foot, I think. Ultimately, my experience on feet may be different than yours. Now, do I think that there's something weird about the early pairs that people might have gotten that are maybe misleading people to think that these are 2 sizes too big? I don't really know. I don't really have any comments to say about that because I don't know. I don't follow like the private selections and like the early people that get early shoes and limited samples and stuff. That used to be interesting to me back in the day when it was more obtainable to myself personally, but I was not one of those collectors that was going to go out of pocket tens of thousands of dollars for a pair of sneakers just because I wanted the exclusivity of it. I was getting a pair of Tokyo 5s because like a homie hooked me up with it. Like different ball game, different pocketbooks. It's just not my thing to chase the cloud around like people that are maybe shopping at those type of places. No disrespect to anybody that maybe does that. It's just not personally something that I can keep up with. Now a father too and all that other stuff. So for me, I'm like retail or die, and then sometimes there's certain things on my list that I really, really want. And then I'll pony up and pay for it. But I don't usually do the extreme stuff. That being said, is there problems with early pairs? I mean, maybe. At the end of the day, we just don't really know. And also, it's like one of those things where this is a men's shoe, but there's a lot of women's exclusive shoes as well nowadays. So sometimes the sizing may be off. The fact that you can get these in men's size 9, that's a women's size 10.5. Maybe somebody at the factory, when they were making like replicas or whatever, flipped them and actually made women's sizes instead of men's and labeled them wrong. That's very possible that something like that could happen. Pretty easy for things to get lost in translation, but ultimately it is what it is. Back to the shoes though, and more information about these crazy, crazy looking shoes. Is this one of those shoes that is probably the ugliest shoe of the year? I mean, maybe to some. Is it something that is a top 10 ugliest shoe? Maybe. I feel like I need to do that video very soon. Is it something that some people are going to like? Absolutely as well. Cactus Plant Flea Market is definitely like a notorious company that can overcharge for stuff for just the out-of-box sort of craziness of what they deliver. And their collaborations with Nike have been no different. Obviously with the Grinch looking Cactus Plant Flea Market Air Flea ones, which I did not get. I tried to get them just to see how they were, but those things were crazy shocking. And now we have these even more oversized to follow up. First of all, that oversized swoosh on the side looks really crazy. It's actually a little button thing that actually sticks onto the shoe. Kind of cool, but also kind of a pain. When you actually use these to like put on the shoe and like actually unstrap them and put the shoe on, like this thing falls off and then you have to try to figure out how to finesse it back on. It's kind of a pain. The easiest thing to do is grab the tongue, grab one of the many back pull tabs, and then just slide the shoe on with the Nike swoosh in place, and then you don't have to worry about having to readjust afterwards too much. One thing that's kind of cool, they actually came with different little buttons over top. I think this is something that they should do over and over again because these things are cool. They're unique. It's Cactus Plant inspired, obviously. 2 different Nike swooshes, 2 different fleas, and then also one yin yang right here. And this is something that they could build on. I want the Cactus Plant Flea Market had the little 4-eyed dude with the smiley face. I want one of those on here as well. I want other things that they have available from Cactus Plant Flea Market. And I feel like they could build on this experience by releasing the next pairs that they have of this model or future models and just keep that same energy and keep releasing more pins on the newer ones. I don't think the Flea ones had these little pin things, but I like the pin buttons or whatever on the shoes. I think it adds a lot of dynamic, and the idea that you can customize them, put them on like Jibbits, like Crocs does with Jibbits, I think is a really smart move. And considering we're all in this collectible market, I feel like it's the perfect like little addition to the product. I only got one set of 5. I wish they came with 2 sets of 5 because there's so many holes all over the shoe. You could have added them everywhere. That's just my takeaway. It sounds like there's friends and family pairs that may have different pins, but ultimately I think that this is something where you could really go crazy with and just add on it every single time there's a new model released. It would be something that I think would be really rad. Overall, the shoe looks really crazy, as I mentioned, very bulky, very ACG sort of like. You have that waffle print from the outsole, but it's all over the sidewalls and over the toe box of the shoe, as well as literally up the back of the shoe also. It almost looks like a giant fat swoosh back here because of the way it actually rides up. But there's actually supposedly Nike Air in this midsole. I don't know what the Air unit looks like because you obviously can't see it. You can't really feel it as well because this is a very heavy, thick rubber, and you don't feel like a lot of air like in here, but there is an Air unit, I guess, in here. On the outsole traction, you can see this crazy little print. I like that. It looks pretty cool, adds a lot of character to the shoe. And overall, I think the execution of the shoe is cool. It's different. It's definitely big, bulky, maybe the wrong size, but ultimately it is a very fun, functional, just different looking pair of shoes. It's not the most comfortable out there, but it's actually surprisingly comfortable for the way it looks, but it's super, super crazy heavy. Like one of the shoes is 1.5 ounces. So that's pretty heavy for one sneaker. Ultimately though, I do like the overall design. Is it kind of ugly? Yeah. Is it something that I might be embarrassed to wear to certain places? Maybe. I mean, I feel like other parents might look at me like I'm a little bit crazy, but ultimately I feel like it's a fun, different looking pair. And if you got a pair of them and they actually fit you okay, then kudos to you. And if they fit you a little bit too big, you're probably in the same boat as myself. Ultimately, I could wear thicker socks. I can do things to make these work if I need to. But not bad. Definitely something I'm going to be keeping in my collection. I'm kind of forced to. I can't really sell it with this box anyway, the way it is. And I'm sure people will offer up low balls in the comment section. But ultimately, I think I'm going to be keeping them. One other thing that I wanted to note is the coloring of the upper is actually different. Both of the shoes actually have a different hue of green, which I think is kind of cool. It's like a nice little mismatch vibe to the shoe. And speaking of mismatch, you do have the Air Flea tags on the back. These nylon pulls here with Air Flea, and you have 4 different colors on the back of there. So I like that there's, again, more mismatch action going on there. It says Flea 2 on the tongue, just do it. And then also you do have the yin yang, and then also you have the yin yang and then the Nike swoosh there. On the inside, you do have the right and left with the radial print down there, like the weather print or whatever. Similar to some of the other shoes that they have, like the Dunks. Then the outsole, again, I already showed you, is pretty awesome. But you also do have these big rubber plugs on the sides of the shoes, also in 4 different colors. So I like that, again, they're just keeping that same mismatch sort of vibe. It's kind of something that goes together well, though, and I like it. But that is kind of the thoughts about the Air Fleas. From my perspective, again, leave a comment in the comment section. What do you guys think about the product? But I'm happy that I was able to get a pair at retail from Cactus Plant Flea Market's website. I didn't even try on Nike when they came back up around. I just was happy with just getting 1 pair. But leave a comment if you got them and things you like or dislike. And especially leave a comment on how they fit you. Are they true to size or are they not? Are they a little bit big? Yeah, I'm curious to see, because I can't imagine one person saying they do fit true to size. However, there's a whole bunch of people that say they do fit true to size. So again, I feel like none of us know our true size out there because we're sneaker people and we make things happen no matter what size they are. But yeah, at the end of the day, everybody's different. And that's why it's important that you know that you're a unique flower and special amongst other people. So appreciate y'all for stopping by and watching. And again, if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. If you guys like the content, drop a like, and hopefully we'll see you back. All right, peace, guys.